This is Optimal Living Daily Relationships, episode 46. I'm in love with my boyfriend of 16 months, but he's not there yet. Will he ever love me? By Evan Marc Katz of evanmarckatz.com. And I'm Joss Murray, back with another episode on the Relationships edition of Optimal Living Daily. This is where I narrate to you from some of the best relationship blogs in the world every single weekday for free. Today I have a post by Evan Marc Katz of evanmarckatz.com. It's all about the imbalances of love and new relationships, and whether or not an imbalance should be a red flag for the person who is more committed. If you're looking to add another book to your summer reading list, make sure and join our mailing list. On the first of every single month, we give away a free book to a random person on the list. And that's only a few days away, so don't forget. But without further delay, let's hear some advice from Evan Marc Katz and start optimizing your life. I'm in love with my boyfriend of 16 months, but he's not there yet. Will he ever love me? By Evan Marc Katz of evanmarckatz.com. Quote, I'm a great admirer of your site. I've read Believe in Love and Why He Disappeared, which helped me get through a tough period after my last relationship ended. We rushed because of passion and got engaged too soon. One of the red flags I ignored because I was so happy to meet a guy who was madly in love with me. I've tried to move more cautiously since then. I just turned 30 and I'm very confident early in a relationship. But I have a borderline anxious attachment style and tend to fall into the last man on earth trap once I'm in love. Which brings me to my current dilemma. I'm in love with my boyfriend of a year and 4 months, and he's not in love with me. He says he cares for me deeply. He says I'm extremely important to him and his feelings are growing over time. But he doesn't know if they'll turn into love or not. If he weren't such a great partner in other ways, I would walk away. He calls every day, makes time to see me 3 or 4 times a week, and we spend every weekend together. This is amazing. We've talked about marriage and kids, and we want the same things out of life. We have a strong foundation of trust, respect, and communication, and he's integrated me into his tight-knit group of friends and their wives. But he doesn't love me yet. A fact he openly tells me when pressed. His stance. People say they're in love too early, and the word gets thrown around. His definition of love seems to be closer to wanting to spend your life with someone than mine is, and he isn't there with me. He's only been in love once, and it took him well over a year to realize it. He moves slowly and deliberately in general. He admits there's a gap in our level of feelings for each other, but doesn't think that's a reason to end the relationship yet. And says he wants to see where it goes. But he's also torn that this is hurting me. Because I have some time before fertility becomes a more imminent issue, I'd like to relax and wait to see if he does fall in love. But I'm finding it tough to keep my cool and my anxious tendencies are coming out. Recently, I keep wondering, what if he never falls in love? When do I cut my losses? And if I do stay, how do I keep my insecurities from eating the relationship alive? Can people catch up to each other like this when there's a gap in feelings? Or does this situation inevitably spell doom and pain? Sincerely, VM, a longtime reader. End quote. Great question. Sorry this is taking a toll on you. I'm sympathetic to you, of course. But because I'm a bit like your boyfriend, I'm going to try to help you understand where he's coming from as well. For most of my life, I dove into relationships head first. Start with commit within a week or 2, declare love within a month. From ages 25 to 34, that's got me into a series of short-term relationships with intense chemistry and no long-term compatibility. When I got dumped by a beloved girlfriend after only 3 months during the summer of 2004, I realized my methodology, or lack thereof, wasn't working. The next time I had a girlfriend was 2 years later, and I was extremely cautious. We dated for 2.5 months before I agreed to have sex, not wanting to hurt her or lead her on. When we finally did sleep together, I committed to her as a boyfriend and we had a wonderful 8-month relationship. Yet, I never told her I loved her because it seemed like a promise, an unspoken prelude to engagement, and I wasn't willing to go on record with such a verbal commitment. Was my standard for saying I love you too high? Probably. All I knew was that I was trying to avoid the same mistakes I'd made for the previous 34 years. Before I ended the relationship, I realized she was almost exactly what I was looking for in a partner. Warm, kind, silly, curious, family-oriented. What she wasn't? Older and sexier. She was 25. I was 35. I needed a woman, not someone in her first job and her first relationship. 6 months later, I met a 37-year-old divorcee who temperamentally reminded me a lot of my ex. 10 years later, she is the mother of our 2 children. Still, I didn't say I love you until we were together for 6 months, which was the very first time I brought up having Jewish children. My thought process: I didn't want to say I love you or break things off until I knew I was ready to consider marriage. That's just my story, but I'm sure I'm not alone for not wanting to make promises or even offer hint at commitments I wasn't sure I would be willing to keep. The reason you shouldn't give up on him is because he's already shown a sensitivity to your feelings. Quote, he admits there's a gap in our level of feelings for each other, but doesn't think that's a reason to end the relationship yet. And he says he wants to see where it goes, but he's also torn that this is hurting me. End quote. To me, that's a sign of integrity. It's not, this is a dead end, you're wasting your time, but rather an honest assessment that he's unsure. It's the same thing I was feeling after 16 months with my now wife when I proposed to her, 2 weeks after having a "I don't know where this is going" conversation. My point is that if you have a good man on your hands, he already knows what's at stake. The next time this comes up, let him know that if he ever knows definitively that he'll never propose to you, he should break up with you right then and there, and then zip it up and become the kind of confident partner that he can't live without. It's not that you're wrong for wanting clarity. It's that you can't force clarity upon another person based on your own insecurities and arbitrary timetable. Give him the space to choose you and trust that he will, and you're far more likely to get what you want. Good luck. You just listened to the post titled, "I'm in love with my boyfriend of 16 months, but he's not there yet. Will he ever love me?" by Evan Marc Katz of evanmarckatz.com. We actually feature Evan Marc Katz quite a bit here on Optimal Living Daily Relationships, so make sure and subscribe if you'd like to listen to all of his previous episodes too. Hard to believe it's the end of June already. Speaking of, we give away a free book to a random person on our mailing list on the 1st of every month, so make sure and join right at oldpodcast.com. And just like that, it's time to say farewell. Thank you so much for listening, and as always, I hope to see you again tomorrow for episode 47, where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this podcast, but also Optimal Living Daily, the show where I read to you from even more blogs covering finance, productivity, minimalism, personal development, and more, from incredible bloggers like Derek Sivers, Zen Habits, Mark and Angel, The Minimalists, and all the ones you hear on this show too. So if you enjoyed today's episode and like taking amazing blogs on the go, come on over to Optimal Living Daily and subscribe to that one too. And together, we'll start optimizing your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Living Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode, and head to oldpodcast.com. That's oldpodcast.com for a free gift, as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.